So if you used one of these, then I promise you today's podcast with Randy Klein of Pen and Pencil is for you. And we're talking about downsizing. But first, Randy, tell us where we are.
We are at 3408 Ashland Avenue. It's where we do estate sales on a every 3 week basis.
You and I have talked about downsizing before.
Yes.
It's the hardest move, I think, because your life's collections of things you're now
exactly.
releasing. And so it's hard having someone like you step in. What does the process look like, Randy? How does someone get started?
People typically they do it in a they move from their main house, then they downsize to like a smaller house, condo, to assisted living, and then in a perfect world, it's a gradual process. But lots of times, things have to hurry up, and that's what throws a little kink in it.
Yeah.
Typically, we are anywhere from 2 to 4 months out. When somebody calls us, kind of get on the list, and that way they have time to share with their families what they want to keep, what they don't, what they want to get rid of, and see how much that they can take with them from their 4-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom house.
Yeah. If we unpack that a little bit, there's a few ways people can work with you. But one is you could step in and they could say, I have stuff ready for you to pick up, Randy.
Yeah. That is the perfect world, where they have it all ready. They've kind of got an idea of what we sell, how we sell it. Basically, we do it in the 2-day sales. We do mix. Each person has a specific area. We might have 6 major, 7 major, 8 major estates in here, but the variety is kind of what brings people through the door lots of times.
Absolutely.
But getting on the list, there's not a lot of people doing what we do, where you have a separate building. Most people will go to people's houses and do them. We still do that. We don't do as many as we used to. That age thing kicks in, moving 30 tables and all that. But that's how the process starts.
I think it helps the people that follow you guys. Like, I know I'm looking for the signs. You have a real following here, and that's something else that makes you guys a little bit unique. When you walk through the door, you're greeting people and by their names. And
you know a lot of people.
Yes.
We spend hundreds of dollars on a sale on advertising online, but we still put up 30 plus signs up and down the highway, up and down the Lover's Lane, up and down Ashland, letting people know that you're having an estate sale, and that's great advertising. It just draws people in.
So it helps bring, more people, more eyes on the stuff. We've talked about before, if you had a larger item like this that didn't move, let's say, what happens in your scenario, Randy?
Like a more expensive item, we try not to repeat anything for the second sale. We try to move it in 2 days. Second day is half price.
Okay.
Of course, the closer you get to closing time on the second day, the closer you have there's negotiations.
Sure.
But typically the first day is priced what it is. We do take bids, and we open them up at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
But typically, if you got over 100 people in line, which we normally have, it's pretty fast and pretty furious.
Absolutely. I think it's, so if the first question, if I'm downsizing, is where am I going to go? The second one, absolutely, is what do I do with all of my stuff? And it can be overwhelming, Randy, so people do nothing.
Yeah.
But with you guys, they're able to tackle a room.
Yeah. And that's actually the best way to do it, if you can do it that way.
Okay.
I think probably, as we were talking about earlier, I think a lot of people think you're like a plumber, and you call Randy and Donna up on Tuesday, and we'll be there on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That just in the way we do it, where you actually come in and we put a price tag on every single item and clean it and
Yeah.
merchandise it and picture it. You can't do it that way.
Yeah.
There's people who do, but it's just not. It just doesn't draw the same impact. The biggest thing you could do is plan ahead.
Okay.
Kind of start thinking. Hey, we've saved this up for 50 years. Let's get a plan on how we want to get rid of this.
Start looking 2 months, 6 months, a year out.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And get your kids in there first. Don't let
Yeah.
Randy and Donna in there first.
Yeah.
Let your kids come in first, get what they want. If they want something, let them have the first opportunity to get that.
I did appreciate that. My mom handed off some items early, and it was really special to bring into our house. And
Yeah.
so I do like that
And
method
and
too.
and obviously there's going to be things that show up behind a door that nobody knew about, nobody ever about,
Right.
somebody forgot about. But that's not really the big deal. The main thing is if you can try to do it in a planned out effort. You don't want to move on a dime.
Right.
You want to pick where you're going, kind of do that. Same way with trying to plan your estate, trying to how to liquidate things.
Randy, what if I have no idea what my stuff's worth or what might move well here? You guys have your finger on the pulse of
Yeah.
what's selling. Do you come to houses
Yeah.
and help me? No.
Exactly. I'll
Okay.
typically I go to the people's houses and just tell them. Usually, it's a lot of times it's the kids that I'm talking to. The
Uh-huh.
folks have passed away and
Yeah.
didn't have any kind of a plan necessarily for it. But I talk to them, kind of give them an idea that we sell this, we sell this, we can sell
Yeah.
this, and lots of times they've already thrown away things. Maybe things that guys, that looks like trash, but yeah, that might have been a $150 piece of
I
trash that you
know.
just threw away. Uh,
If you don't have your finger on the pulse of
yeah,
what's moving, you have no idea.
I had a gentleman had 2 boxes of sterling silver. He gave one of them to a thrift store, and he thought, before I give that away, I maybe ought to go check. One of the box that we had, we got $3,600.
Oh my heavens.
He was I said, don't be sick. It's already gone. So you
Yeah.
can't worry about that. It's done deal. Don't worry
Yes.
about it. But that happens. So if you get somebody else, in to look at it, save those things from happening.
Yeah, that's great. How many estate sales do you imagine you've done about these days,
I can
Randy?
tell you over the course of the years since '92, we've done over 3,000 sales.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I
So
can
you
tell you that.
guys know what you're doing. You can help. Yeah.
We're trying to slow down a little bit, but still we're doing 18, 22 sales a year.
I mean, if you look at the people that are turning 65 every day, Randy, it's going to get a pretty more furious before
Well,
it slows down, I
yeah,
feel like.
and you think about it's your parents, but then all of a sudden it's you,
Yes.
and you're thinking, well, wow, what do I do with all that stuff? Well, and donating, don't get me wrong, is fine.
Sure.
That is a great thing to do. That's why there's not one thrift store in St. Joe. There's
Yes.
dozens, but this you'll come out on a lot better. How it works, we have a 2-day sale. We count your items before the sale. We count them on the second day of the sale. Then we count them after the sale is over. We pay everybody on that Monday morning.
Wow.
We'll have 10, 15 people come in on that. Some of them will come in during the other week, and it's just a
So they drop
process.
off their stuff. You prep it for sale like we're seeing today.
Yeah.
And then 2 days happen, boom, they go get their check.
and
That's
and
like
lots of times things happen where they can't bring it to us,
okay.
so we actually
Sure.
go and pick up their things. We've got a trailer, got two guys who kind of help, and we go
Fantastic.
pick up sometimes it's washer and dryer, sometimes it's bedroom sets.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just boxes.
So, Randy, I think one of the neatest things about the estate sale, and you said you might have multiple estates involved, there's something here for everyone.
Yeah,
Tools, or like you said, a washer and dryer.
yeah.
Um,
If you just had one person's estate in here, uh, it would be a little bit somewhat boring because sometimes if they wouldn't have crystal, sometimes they wouldn't
yeah,
have tools, sometimes they wouldn't have furniture. This way you get a pretty good variety for everybody, and for those people who don't show up right when you open the door, there's still a lot of things throughout the course of the day. We're open from 8 to 4 on Friday, and you'll see just as many, lots of times, just as many people come in at 11 o'clock or 1
okay,
o'clock,
yeah,
that type of deal. Then Saturdays is typically always half off day, and
okay.
that's kind of fast and furious also.
Yes.
So,
Uh-huh. Well, I know there's always something I find here, and I have to keep my eyes from looking right now because there's so much in
yeah,
here, Randy. This is a great one this weekend.
it's
Yeah,
a good, it is a good one.
yeah,
I know we were talking earlier. The fun thing about this is it's something different every sale.
yeah,
It's you have books, it's different books. If
yeah,
you have tools, it's different tools.
yeah.
You have figurines, you had Boyd's Bears this sale.
So great.
It's something. It might be roosters or chickens the next
I
sale. It might be
know.
cats the one after that. It's always something just
It's a
a
treasure
little bit
hunt
different.
for sure. Tell
Exactly.
me, how does someone get a hold of you guys?
Typically, we have people call. That's the best way.
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
Texting is the next best way.
okay.
Emailing is now the snail mail way of
Right.
doing things.
Uh-huh. Yep.
But it's still good. It's hard to get back with everybody, and I apologize in advance. There's just sometimes you get 6 8 calls a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes people want to sell something right now.
But tell them not to be discouraged.
Yes,
Just call you back if you aren't able. Like, you do a great job, but I imagine it is
it
a
can
lot going on.
it can be
Uh huh.
in the midst in just us talking. Somebody has already texted me.
Cool.
That cha-ching is my
Uh
text
huh.
message. So
Okay.
that does happen. A typical week we'll get 8 to 15 calls.
So think a couple of months ahead if they want you to come out
Mhm.
and say, "Do I have anything here?"
Yeah, that's probably the best thing for
Okay.
whether it's me or somebody else who's in the business.
Yeah.
At least get the idea that I hear so many people lots of times say, well, we just cleaned out Dad's garage.
I
We just
know.
got a dumpster and we just threw it in.
Yeah.
But what you don't think of is that one can of STP that actually has a St. Joe label on it might be $85, $95 that you just threw in the trash. Same way on clothes. Lots of times people, well, the first thing we did is we just got yellow bags of clothes and just donated them all.
Oh yeah.
You
There's some
really,
vintage.
let people look at, and
Uh huh.
we're not always the only dog in the fight. Lots of
Sure.
times we just can't help people, and I'll give them other people's names.
Okay.
Hey, these people can do it quicker than we can do it.
Okay.
These people will can help you. Again, we don't do a lot of in-home sales, but our next sale is in a home sale out in Stonecrest. So
Okay.
we still do them. It's just it's the kind of thing you'd like to play 18 holes, but sometimes you just play 9.
I think the traffic, again, like if we were going to have it in home, there's some, you know,
There's
you
advantages.
you have great traffic here, so that's phenomenal. All right, give you a call, plan at least a couple of months out so that you have time to
Yeah.
get over there and talk them through it. What else do people ask you about, Randy? Anything that I haven't thought of?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many collectibles
Yeah,
that and I now that if you've got a phone, you can look up anything. You
yeah,
can look up what it's worth. You can look up what somebody wants for it. You can actually look up and see what it's sold for.
yeah,
Lots of times there's big differences, but
right,
I get people all the time. Hey, what about jewelry? What about coins? What about stamps? And
right.
those are some harder areas, you know, and we do have people that we try to give them their names and hey, we're not going to make a penny off this, but you need to go talk to this person.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, your
So
reputation certainly
we
is a
try.
big deal. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the old adage, you can't make everybody happy, but you can make most of them.
Yeah.
That's definitely what our goal is.
So I think you shared with me your draw is about a 500-mile radius.
Yeah.
People will come, they're watching
Yeah.
what's gonna happen, and so that's a huge radius. And
yeah. Well, the internet makes it a lot easier.
It does help things a lot. And your sales, what's the frequency that you're trying to do these?
We're trying to do them every 3 weeks. We did one in February that was 2 weeks, but for sanity purposes and still, you know, trying to have slow down. 3 weeks seems to be about the time. When we go on vacation in February, somebody always says, "What are we going to do?" Well, you know, there's other people who have estate sales. There's a lot of St. Joe's blessed with having a lot of good people that besides us that does estate sales.
Good.
So,
well, you're certainly a treasure in our community and everything that you guys do for
thank you. Thank you.
Folks around here. Thanks for taking time with us today. Is there, I know the parting wisdom we've got, plan ahead.
Plan ahead, please.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's again, it's just harder to, it's just not that many people out there to, and it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, which I think is the overwhelm. The having someone like you to help get a plan and how are we going to get through this stuff makes it tremendously easier. So they can get on to that next stage for sure, Randy.
Well, thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
It's always fun talking to you. And again, if you used one of these, then call Randy at Pen and Pencil if you're looking to downsize.